Individual differences and learners' interaction. An observation guide for individual differences and my observation report. Number 1 question. Observe the class to see the differences in abilities of the learners. As I have observed the grade 10 class, I noticed that there are individual differences among the learners and differences of interest and also their abilities. Number 2. Try to identify the students who seem to be performing well and those that seem to be behind. Based on my observation, there are students who have the ability to interact with their teachers, ability to share their knowledge, ability to participate, and ability to become a good learners. Number 3. Validate your observations by asking the teacher about the background of family, socioeconomic, presence of some learners' disabilities, and etc. of these children. As I validate the teacher about the background of her students who makes frequent absences about 3 to 5 days a week without any valid reasons. So the teacher said that she tried to send them letters and trying to contact but they didn't respond. So she finds some ways just to let the parents know the situations and behavior of their son and also to know the reasons of his absences. Number 4. Observe the behavior of both high-achieving and low-achieving learners. Note their disposition, pace in accomplishing tasks, interactions with teacher, and interaction with others. As I observe the behavior of high-achieving and low-achieving learners, the high-achieving learners is very active and well-participated during discussions, while the low learners just sits on their chair and sometimes they need to call the teacher to participate and share their ideas. Number 5. Observe the teacher's method in addressing the individual learning needs of the students in his or her class. As I observe, the teacher uses PowerPoint to get the attentions of her students and to make it clear. Teacher also asking students to have an interactions with her and to make them participate and share their knowledge, thoughts, and ideas. Let's proceed to the analysis. Number 1 question. Did your observation match the information given by the teacher? Were you able to correctly identify who among the students performed well and who did not? What behavior helped you identify them? And volunteer to answer responding to teachers' directions and etc. As I observe, yes, the information given by the teacher is matched on my observation. I could identify the students who perform well since they are the ones who always raise their hands when the teacher asks them some questions regarding on their topic. Others would just listen and preferred to be called by the teacher before they answer. In that way, I have easily identified those top achievers in the class. Number 2. Describe the differences in ability levels of the students in the class. Is there a wide gap between the students who are performing well and those that are not? I observe that the differences in ability levels of the students in the class, there's a wide gap between the performance of the students. Because I only observed that those achievers are always raising their hands to answer, while the others are just listen and sit. Some of them are ashamed to share their ideas. Number 3. Describe the methods used by the teacher in handling the students' differences in abilities. How did the students respond to the teacher? The teacher teacher uses student-centered learning procedures such as class discussion and interactions between students. The teacher used a PowerPoint so that the students has guide about what their teacher is talking about. So now let's proceed to the reflections. Number 1 question. Recall the time when you were in the elementary or high school. Recall the high and low achievers in your class and how did your teacher deal with differences in abilities? Was your teachers effective? When I was in elementary or high school, the high achievers in class were given plus point by our teacher and was even ranked them depends on their high grades. My teacher not really effective because he or she just focused on the students who got a higher grades. Number 2 question. With the principle of individual differences in mind, what method and strategies will you remember in the future to ensure that you will be able to meet the needs of both the high and low achievers in your class? If I will be a teacher someday, the method and strategies I will apply to meet the needs of both high and low achievers in my class is giving them a law of association and belongingness, that I will treat my students equally, whether they are fast or slow learners. I will also treat them the best treatment that they deserve, and I will treat them fair.